Hello, my name's Lene. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do something fun today because I've got a lot of plans for the Black Musical series and I'm excited about all that I'm doing. But today is just a fun video. I love Disney. Some might call me a Disney adult. I might not go that far, but one thing I am hypercritical of is all of the Disney live action remakes. And with Lilo and Stitch coming out, I love Stitch. I wanted to rank what I think the best live action films are. Again, I'm hypercritical of them. I don't really like them. I didn't even see Lilo and Stitch because I didn't want it to ruin my deep love that I have for the character. And I didn't want it to make me mad. So yeah, we're gonna be ranking all of them today. I've got my tier list out and I'll explain to you what each one means in just a second. Okay, so we've got My Shayla, which is first, which is like, oh, I love it, My Shayla, you know, the meme. The next tier is, okay, You Were Cooking. So that's like, you might have done something with the film. Like, I see what you did and I like it. I could have used a little bit more work, but I like what you did. Then the third tier is Victor, you actually did this, because just like that meme, Victor actually did nothing. So it's kind of like, this is mediocre, but not horrible, Like, I might, you know, watch it again. Then the next tier is which is like, I don't know what you were doing. I'm gonna choose to ignore this one. I won't be watching again. And then the last tier is My Eyes, They're Burning, which is like the worst of the worst. Like, you ruined this. I don't want to know about it. My eyes are melting and never want to see it again. That's the tier list. Okay. Now, I think there's 22 films. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 films, which is wild. I've got my matcha here. And I'm going to take some actually. So let's start. Okay, the first, it might be out of order, by the way. The first one is Mufasa. Let me move this. Okay, I'm gonna put Mufasa in, because I didn't, well, maybe actually I should put it in Victor, You Actually Did This. I'll do Victor, You Actually Did This. It wasn't the worst. I liked some of the songs. It had the meme, what did you say to my brother? What did you say to my brother? Which I liked. But was it the best film? No, it didn't need to be made. Absolutely not. I don't even understand what it added to the lore of the canon. But I thought it was a structurally sound movie. And to be honest, it was kind of one of those films that I was like, if this was just a standalone film that had been animated, people would have liked it. I don't know why we had to put the Lion King franchise into it. It was fine. It was fine. So that goes to Victor, You Actually Did This. Okay, up next, we got the Cinderella, which was one of kind of the first ones that started this whole live action trend. And I'm gonna say My Shayla, because this film managed to not be a cash grab. And it was like so underrated. The costumes were amazing. There wasn't a lot of songs. I remember like that was a big controversy. Like, oh, we're not putting songs in but it worked. Like, I have to go back and watch it, but I really liked this one. And again, this was the one that kind of started the trend of this live action train. So yeah, I liked Cinderella, My Shayla. Yes. Oh, and that glass slipper that was in there. I still dream about that. I dream about that shoe. So yeah, that one actually did something. Okay. Up next, we got Snow White. Okay, I haven't seen this film, but I've seen the memes, and I'm gonna put it in My Eyes, They're Burning, because I just know it's bad. Like, from all that I've seen, the way they just butchered it, I just feel like the person who made this film didn't even like Snow White, which, why are we hiring directors who don't even like the source material to make the film? Like, it just makes no sense. Also, we got Gal Gadot. I'm not gonna watch a film that has her in it, you know what I mean? So My Eyes, They're Burning. Let's just forget this ever existed. Okay, we got Pinocchio up next. I'm gonna also put this in My Eyes, They're Burning. Cause what was that? Like, what? I did actually watch this one. I think I watched it on a Disney cruise, maybe. I love Pinocchio. Actually, I'm a very big fan. Ever since I was a little kid, loved Pinocchio. And again, it's just like, why are we butchering this? Tom Hanks was not good, which is surprising because everybody loves Tom Hanks, but he was not good in this film. Jiminy Cricket, no. The only good thing, I guess, was the Blue Fairy being Cynthia Erivo. Was it Cynthia Erivo? I got it. Well, the voice was Cynthia Erivo. But, like, she didn't really have a lot of screen time. Like, even her singing When You Wish Upon a Star got cut. So what was the point of that? Like, that would have been the only redeeming thing. The animations were weird. Like, Pinocchio does not need to be live action. Keep it animation. Let it stay. It's a weird movie, but it didn't need to be this. It was, like, weird, but the soul was sucked out of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, Peter Pan and Wendy. I'm gonna say because I actually haven't seen that one. So I'm gonna put it in that category. And not because I liked the fact that Tinkerbell was Yara Shahidi, but like I just don't have anything to say about it. It just looks so boring. So I'm gonna put it in okay, Mulan. It's not okay, it is awful in terms of it being Mulan, because it's not Mulan. It's a whole different film that I decided to slap the Mulan name on. But I don't think about it. It just like disappears from my mind. So that's why it's in you know what I mean? Okay. Ooh, Lilo and Stitch, which I'm gonna put that in My Eyes They're Burning. You know, when this film was first announced as they were gonna make it live action, I was like, no, why would you do that? And I've stayed firm on that response. Like, no, why would you do that? I've even said that they were gonna butcher it. Everybody called me a hater. They're like, Lene, give it a shot, give it a shot. I've seen all I needed to see of spoilers of what this film is and exactly what I thought. They managed to butcher a beautiful film about found family, redemption, tourism. Like, they just completely butchered everything. I'm in awe of how bad this film is. And honestly, I agree with people who are saying it's a piece of propaganda. It so is. I don't need this anywhere in my life. My Eyes They're Burning. I'm gonna stick with the OG Lilo and Stitch, and that's all I'll say about that. And what's crazy is, actually, I said that's all I'll say about it, and then I have more to say. What's crazy about the OG Lilo and Stitch is that it's also directed and written by white people, right? Like, that is true. So they could have had a chance to make this live action be more authentic, be better representation, and they just chose to throw that out the window. Like, the director is still a white man. Like, I don't understand why we would do that. If we're gonna add something to it, it would be making it better. And we just decided to do the exact same thing, but worse. Like, that feels weird to me. I also know about, you know, the controversy with the casting, and I agree. Like, why are we doing all that? So that's what I'll say about that. Okay. Matcha break. Okay. Cruella. I'm gonna put this in I have friends who love Cruella, and I know a lot of people who do love her. And as a character, it is interesting. But as a movie, you know what? You know, I'm gonna put that in. I changed my mind. I'll put that in. Victor, you actually did this. Because, okay, that's it. All right, Alice Through the Looking Glass. We're just gonna put that in because a boring movie, forgettable. What is that? All right, Maleficent. Maleficent. This was also, I think, another movie that signified this trend of live actions. Like, a lot of people love Maleficent. I am not one of those people, unfortunately. So I guess I'm gonna put that in like, I know, maybe I should put that in Victor, you actually did this. But I'm not a fan. I don't know. I love Angelina Jolie, like truly. And I think that they had an interesting idea. Like I kind of thought about putting that in Okay, You Were Cooking, because the idea of having a villain say their origin is interesting, right? Like she's not a villain, yada, yada. Like I like that concept, but in execution, I feel like it failed. So controversial. I guess I'm gonna keep that in sorry. Should I? Okay. You convinced me. I'll put that in Victor, You Actually Did This. I'm gonna put that there. Okay. Up next, Aladdin. I'm gonna put that in this time. No. My eyes, they're burning. I know people who really like this remake, and they're like, I like what he did. I don't. And again, it's the same question I asked. If we're gonna do a new film, shouldn't it be or try to be more authentic and be a better version of representation? Princess Jasmine, what was that? And I like Naomi Scott. Don't get me wrong. I like Naomi Scott. When I look at her, I don't think Princess Jasmine. Princess Jasmine is not her. Aladdin is supposed to be, I don't want to say anything bad about the actor because it's not any of the actor's faults, right? He bored me. He wasn't interesting. I didn't think he was all that cute. It was just like, Jafar, also just not a scary villain at all. I felt like the songs were just not hitting, like everything about it just, it wasn't for me. I felt like it was an overproduced CGI monstrosity, and I feel like I just wouldn't watch the animation. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, up next, Christopher Robin. I'll put this in I know people get on me about not liking this movie. And okay, I think that the characters are very cute. Like I love the aesthetic of the film. You know what? I'll put it in Okay, You Were Cooking. I like the aesthetics of what they were doing. And I like the concept of you grow up and you da-da-da-da, but something about it just didn't work for me. I found it very boring. I'm like, what am I watching? This is a boring film. So I'll put that in Okay, You Were Cooking though, because you know what? I'll put that in Victor, You Actually Did This. There we go. All right. Up next, Little Mermaid. My Shayla. Absolutely. I got I have a couple like Little Mermaid like merch things that have Halle Bailey on it. I love this film. Now, I don't think that everything is perfect. Like for instance, Ursula, not the best Ursula personally. I don't think Melissa McCarthy was like the best person they should have casted, but I get it. It's like stunt casting, right? But otherwise, I think this film is actually really cool. I love what they did. I love the fact that she's black. I love her voice. I actually love Prince Eric. Like it made me like him even more because in the OG, he doesn't really have a personality. You know what I mean? They still kept the red hair. Like I love the live action Little Mermaid. Nobody can tell me differently. I saw it like 4 times in the theater. Love it. Ugh. Okay. Probably the only one I'm going to talk about like this. Okay, up next, Jungle Book. I'm going to put this in Okay, You Were Cooking. Because it was one of the first, again, in the trend of live action films that people actually kind of liked. And I liked what they did with it. They kind of took out some of the songs, but then they put in other remixes. They maybe made the songs really short. Like, I like it. I like they were cooking. They had something working with this one. Lady and the Tramp. I don't have anything to say about it. Like, I'm not that big of a Lady and the Tramp fan anyways, and I can't tell you the last time I've seen that movie. So that's why it gets put in, I don't know. Was it good? I don't remember. I watched it. I have nothing to say. So, it's gonna stay there. Beauty and the Beast. My eyes, they're burning. Yeah. I honestly wish I could forget this film ever existed. I wish I could put it out of my mind. And again, people were mad at me you know, when this came out, I was like, Emma Watson is not going to be a good Belle. They all yelled at me, Lene, that's not fair. She was not a good Belle. She couldn't sing. She didn't really. It's not all her fault. I'm gonna put that. That's not all on her. It's also the costume designer's fault. It's the hair and makeup people. Like, this film just didn't understand how to make gorgeous costumes. And like, the costumes in the original Beauty and the Beast, they are really beautiful, but they're also simple, right? So like, I understand what they were trying to do, but then they just didn't do it. Everything about this film, just bad. Besides Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens, you can stay. You can stay. But again, because he was so CGI the whole film, you couldn't really like get attached to him. He didn't really emote. Like, I think they also just like softened down his character because they wanted people to like him more, but people already like the Beast. Like, just because he's mean and, you know, he lashes out doesn't mean that you have to change his character completely. And going back to Lilo on stage, I think they did the same thing with Lilo, right? Because Lilo is at times rude, she's mean, she's aggressive, like, she's all these things, right? And she's weird, but they erased all of that. And it's like a sanitization of characters because they want them to be less complex and they want them to be just cardboard cutouts of what a person is, right? And I feel the same way about Beauty and the Beast. They just kind of dulled down every character, which is crazy because the OG is only like 90 minutes. The live action of Beauty and the Beast, I believe, is like a good 2 hours. So maybe 3 hours, 2.5 hours. What did you do with that time? Nothing. Okay. Lion King. Also, my eyes, they're burning. Why? I mean, I could put that in I still have nothing to say about it. It's a shot for shot remake of the OG, but worse somehow. Like, they didn't get the vibrant colors, they didn't get the beauty, like, they didn't get any of that. And they did have a star-studded cast, don't get me wrong, but even a great cast is not gonna, it's not gonna save this film, personally. So that's why it's in Okay. Dumbo. I mean, it's a bad film. Like, arguably, it's bad, it's boring. It's like, what is this? Tim Burton did it. But again, like, I'm not the biggest, well, I'm not the biggest Dumbo fan to begin with. Like, I think Dumbo's really cute, but the movie itself is quite sad and quite dark, right? But they just, a soulless again. All right, Pete's Dragon. Did I watch this? I'm gonna put this in Victor, you actually did this, because it wasn't horrible. I think they kind of actually picked a good film because not a lot of people even know what Pete's Dragon is, right? So, okay, like, you took a movie that maybe undersold before and you're like revamping it. That's a good idea. But I remember liking it, actually. Like, I remember like, oh, this is fine. Maybe. So I guess that's where it's gonna be put. Okay, 101 Dalmatians, my Shayla. You know what? And 102, my Shayla. My Shayla. These are technically live action films. However, they were made in the late 90s, early 2000s. Such a good live action film. Still stays, you know, really close to the source material, understands the concept, but brings in better fashion, has Cruella as a longer, you know, concept character, gives her depth, gives her dimension. Sorry. Yeah, just, I love these two films. Such a classic. And great, you know, like, character design, wardrobe, like, production design. They really like wanted this film to do good, even though it didn't make them that much money, I don't think. And Glenn Close, gotta love Glenn Close. So my Shayla, absolutely. Okay, Alice in Wonderland. I am gonna put this in okay, you were cooking. Now, personally, I really love the OG Alice in Wonderland. That's always been my favorite. I prefer that over the live action. However, I understand what Tim Burton was trying to do. And in terms of aesthetics, people really love this film. I find it boring and just not interesting, but like I can understand the concept of what they were doing. Now, I don't think this film was the best because again, it also started this whole thing of live actions, right? But at least it was trying to do something interesting and different, and I can give it props for that, right? So, you cooked a little bit. Did we eat? But you cooked. Okay, last but not least, Maleficent. That's the, or wait, I think this is the second Maleficent. Oh, I see. Okay. The first one that I did was Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. So here's what I'll do. This one I'm going to put in, this is the OG. Victor, you actually did this. This is the first one. This second one, I'm actually going to put that in because it was somehow worse. No, you know what? I'm going to put that in My Eyes, They're Burning. It was like you had something with the first one, and then the second one you just said, I don't know, slap something on there. Get Ellie Fanning, come on. Get in here, say a couple lines. And then he said, yeah, that's good. And you just didn't do anything else. So that is actually going to My Eyes, They're Burning. And with that, I think I have ranked every single Disney live action film. I hope you enjoyed.